everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Well, come from you from a different spot today. Different spot physically, meaning I set the camera up a little bit differently, but differently also in the fact that today is Wednesday, and we got word yesterday here in Northern Virginia that we'll be heading into phase 1. Now, awesome news, right? Because we're one of the last, hey Brady, hey buddy, we're one of the last areas to actually start opening up with phase 1. We've had, most of Virginia, the rural areas actually open up, which makes sense, but Northern Virginia has had the majority of the cases through the whole state. So it makes sense that we'd be the last ones to open up. However, we're at that point now where we can actually open up. Now, something I brought up in the other video that Aaron and I were, when we were traveling around to help the police wind up finding that stolen car, something I brought up that has been more apparent the last couple of weeks, well actually the last week that I've been kind of paying attention to now. One thing I've noticed is some of the states that have opened up, there are no guidelines, meaning no social distancing, no masks, nothing like that. There's just like a total free-for-all. I forget what state it was, but it was like everybody went to the lake and like all these adults jumped in the lake. They were standing next to each other, no masks, partying and stuff like that. That's one aspect. I can see people being so happy to get out of, and we're seeing that, right? But I can see people so happy to get out and be like, oh, the summer's here, like the warm weather's here, where the lake, we're good to go, right? I can totally see that. Then there's the other side that I've seen where there are brawls breaking out, like actual fights, like street fights, like brawls, meaning groups of people that technically don't even know each other, that may be waiting in line to go inside, I think it was a Kohl's, or it wasn't a Target because it has been open the whole time. It was like a Kohl's, I believe it was. Could be wrong. There's so much stuff you see every day on a daily basis online that it's hard to keep track of what you saw and where you saw it. But they were waiting in line and to get into the store, and of course they're limiting the amount of people that go in the store, and there's not long lines, but those lines can take up to 2 hours to get in that store. So people are getting frustrated, and tempers are kind of flaring up because people are happy to be out, but they're not necessarily back to their free selves yet. They can't just walk in a store. They gotta wait 2 hours to go to Dick's Sporting Goods to maybe buy an Under Armour shirt or something like that, right? And there are brawls happening. Like there are these fights happening, and they're posting them online, and I'm going, so here we are. We've been 3 months on lockdown, which is long enough to create new habits. It's long enough for a lot of things. You could completely find a new religion. You could start a new business. A lot of stuff can happen in 3 months. And what we're finding is people have been conditioned to kind of, it doesn't sound like a military helicopter. So we have these military helicopters that have been going by the last couple of days. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, these things, they sound, when they fly by the house, like the whole house shakes. It's like, duh, 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 duh. You're like, holy shit. But you have people that have been on lockdown that have been basically forced to keep all of their emotions and stuff inside, right? Because they don't want to blow up on the people around them or affect the other people in their household and stuff. And they finally get their life back, which they feel like, oh, it's back to normal, right? So they're so relieved. They're like, okay, I'm going to go out today. I'm going to go get a pizza. I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to watch a movie. It's going to be awesome, right? And I may even go to the park and lay in the park under the tree for a little while and take a nap under the tree in nature, right? Like they're all this stuff is going through their head that they're just going to open up and be like, good to go, right? And then they get out and they get in line and they realize that they're still being controlled. They're told that they can't go in that store. They have to wait 2 hours because only 5 people can go inside of a store that's 50,000 square feet because of the virus, right? And I'm like, I understand that. But when they get there, like I'm expecting that when I go. I'm expecting restrictions. I'm expecting these things to be in place that we're not just going to feel free. We're going to feel like, oh, we got a little bit back, right? That's what I'm expecting. Other people feel like everything's going to be back. Why? They open the doors and today we go and everything's back to normal and we're good to go. And that's not how that's going to work. It's just not going to happen like that. Then I realized that after 3 months of being on lockdown, not knowing how other people are going to feel and how other people are going to socially interact, how do we interact with those people socially, right? There hasn't been many people that I've actually interacted with person to person. My wife, our neighbors, a couple of our friends in Maryland. I saw my friend Ani one day. It's been far and few between with human interaction, right? And you get used to interacting with the people that are in your life, like your wife or your husband or your kids or whatever, and they know your personality, they know your quirks, they know you. They've been around you, and now they've been around you even more. When you get out there in the real world, people don't take those social cues sometimes anymore because they're used to just having their own social cues. They forget about what society actually, how it integrates into society and how people actually act, and the social cues of going back and forth, being social. Like, it's been taken away from us. Many people don't know what that is. I know people literally that, a good friend of mine, the 17th of March was the last time he was out of his house. He has not left his house for any reason since the 17th of March. It's the 26th, or 26th, I think, of May today. He hasn't left his house. So now, we do stuff on Zoom and stuff like that with different things for interaction, but like, when he goes back out there in the real world, what is it going to be like for him? Is he going to be scared? I mean, he's already scared. Like, this virus has already scared the shit out of him until we didn't leave the house for 2 months. So how is he going to integrate back into society, right? Like, socially, how is he going to react? Because things are changing again. They changed from, like, we had our normal, free lives, and they changed into this not free life. Now they're going back into like a semi-free life. Like, we keep going into phases that are something we've never seen before, nothing we've ever done before, nothing we've ever experienced before. But I do believe that these phases, I think they're needed, to be honest with you. I would love to just open everything up and go back to normal, because I, for one, just don't give a fuck. I would literally be out there, with a mask, without a mask, whatever I fucking decided that day, I would be out there and just trying to enjoy living again, right? But not a lot of people are like that. They're kind of like, I'm the one that just jumps in the pool because it's cold. Other people are the ones that tip their toes in the pool just to test it, to see what it's like, and see if they're down with jumping in the pool, right? Well, that pool is life. They're dipping their toes in the pool of life again. Where I'm just gonna fucking dive in the pool of life. I love life. I want life. Life is meant to be lived, right? Not to be suppressed and confined. It's just not. But I realize that there are gonna be people out there that don't know how to socialize again, and are gonna be scared still. And I even took one of my masks, one of my my Trend Killer masks, which I give away free with all orders. JFD products, you get a free mask with it. And I took a razor blade and I went on the inside and I really thinned it out on the inside, so there's barely any material on it, because we have you have to wear the mask. It's going to be a state rule while you go to public places. So this thing is so thin that I can put it over my face and hopefully breathe through it for long periods of time while I'm out. Like, even I'm trying to integrate what these rules are just to get back to some normal life that I once had, right? So I'm down with that. I want that. Other people are going to be like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go out for the first week or two. Let's watch and see if the numbers spike. Other people are going to be like, I really got to get out, but I'm scared. So they may go out and maybe they'll stay 20 feet away from people. Like, I've seen people walking by me on the street and they're like, they're looking around them. It's not me, but they're looking around them because they're so scared of anything around them that might harm them. They don't know what will and won't harm them because of the invisible, virus that we can't see. So, I don't know, guys. I know that we're in a different place right now. We're in week 12 right now of the lockdown for us. I remember when it started, I said that it wouldn't go 2 weeks, it wouldn't go 4 weeks, it would go longer, and I expected it to go to June, and here we are. It's going to be the end of May. I think it's the 29th of May, so like one of the last days of May, we're going to go back into phase one and kind of start to open up again, which it's been a long 3 months for many of us. I feel differently now about things than I did back then. Not just about the virus, but I feel differently about how easily people can be persuaded and controlled because of people that they trust can manipulate their thoughts. Things that we've seen with the mainstream media, even different politicians that people follow. I've seen them become completely entrenched into something that is a reality that they really don't have to be entrenched in. I see things that I think people have opened their eyes also. I've seen that. People have really woken up, been awakened, waked up, Jesus, and started to see things for what they really are. I've seen people get very spiritual. I've seen people get very religious, right? I've seen people get super depressed to the point where I didn't think they were going to make it another day. I mean, there's so many things that I feel differently about, and I also understand that it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what kind of awesome life you have. We were all leveled, literally, in one day. We were leveled. We were put on the level. Boom, it's a Masonic term. Meeting on the level, being on the level means that we're all the same. That happened globally in basically one day. When that virus was released, our entire world was level to the point where we were all on the level. We're all going through the same thing, although different ways and different types and different cultures and different rules, we're all going through the same problem at the same time. And that made me realize very quickly that, hey, you know what, like, yes, we have different cultures, different countries, different this, different that. When it really boils down to brass tacks, when it comes down to the bottom line, we all die, right? We're all born, we all live a life, we all die. Therefore, we're all going through the same things. We're all going through the same challenges, the same thoughts, processes, fears, failures, successes. We all go through those things throughout the timeline that's our life, right? But never have we been on the same timeline together. So if anything, it's made me feel like closer to actually everybody else in the world, knowing that we were struggling together and people were talking about it and people were arguing and people were fighting and people were helping people who were getting along. Like everything in the spectrum was actually happening during this 3 months. What it really boiled down to is we all just want to live our lives. We all just want to do the best that we can, right? That's what it's all about. We all want to have the best life that we can for as long as we can and do the right things that we can provide for our families and have the best lives for our families. That's it. That's what we're all about, all of us. All this other stuff is just static and noise. What kind of car you drive, how big your house is, what kind of sneakers you wear. It's all noise. It's all static in the background to the real picture, which is we're all going through it. We're all the same. Like we are literally all the same. And I think it took, an act of God. And I mean, I'm not the most religious guy, but I do consider this, even if humans did it, an act of God as a wake-up call to be like, listen, you guys need to cut the shit and start banding together and stop being assholes. Stop fighting. Stop being out there fucking trying to separate races and separate countries. And you motherfuckers are one. And if you don't figure it out, we're going to put some other shit in there, that's going to fuck you guys up to make you bond together. That's what we do. Time of crisis, humans bond together. I mean, even when 9/11 happened, it wasn't just America. Other countries bonded with us to try to help us, to support us, right? So in times of crisis, humans come together. We put all of our differences aside and we come together to become this force that, like, let's be real. I mean, this force that we have, if all of us unite, there's nothing in the world that can stop human beings. I mean, there's nothing that's stopped us so far. So realizing that we're all the same, we need to be there for one another, I think is something that that message really got out during this crisis. And I think that honestly, like, everything is a lesson. Like everything that happens, there's a lesson in it, right? And to me, I go, that's the lesson. That was the general lesson for the greater good of humanity, is that we're all the same. We go through this shit together. And that had been missing for a long time. The fighting, the wars, the horse shit that went on. Like that was something that I feel like pulled us further away from being what we really are supposed to be. And that is divine human beings, good human beings, good entities that try to get along with the other entities and try to flourish individually and collectively. I know it's getting pretty deep, but hey, quarantine, that's what it's done. Quarantine has given me time to think about a lot of things and really not put so much emphasis on the things that I lost, meaning my freedoms that I lost, my days that I lost, my time that I lost, and focus more on the things that I had, which was time for introspect and retrospect and dig deeper in myself. So when this thing is over, I can at least have a better understanding of even myself, because I don't have time usually to have those talks with myself, or those times where you try to go deep within yourself to have more understanding of who you are and how you're evolving as a person. And I think that like all of this stuff is going to culminate. And I think that, like I said, when we get out of this thing, we're going to see the fights and the brawls break out. We're going to see the people smiling and hugging. We're going to see everything across the board. But what we're going to see is a different turning point. I do believe the world now is a different thing than it was 3 months ago. I believe we're in a different place. I believe it is going to be different. It will never be the same again. I do believe that, hands down. There's no doubt in my mind that we now live in a different world. We saw a shift in consciousness. We saw a shift in everything. Human evolution, we saw a shift in everything that is absolutely historic as far as humanity goes. And I think that that is absolutely an awesome thing when you think about it, that we were alive during it. And I think that's the main positive thing that I'll take out of this. Right, buddy? Brady came over. He likes, when I talk on the camera, he gets a little upset. Like, my voice goes up. Huh, buddy? It's okay. I'm not mad. Daddy's all done. We'll hang out, okay? All right, guys, we're going to cut this off here. It's been a little bit long, and I know that there's a lot in this video to digest and process. So hopefully you guys are doing well. This shit's almost over. I do believe that before long, this thing will be a thing of the past. And this thing, I mean, the situation, the virus, I think all of it will be a thing of the past. There's great breakthroughs happening right now. And we're going to see some awesome stuff. And I guess the bottom line is I think everything's going to be okay. Hang in there, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Take care of each other. Be there for each other. Stay safe. And the rest of Nova, Northern Virginia, Welcome to phase one, y'all. I'm Bias, and I approve this message, and we are out.